Muthoni here, and welcome back to another DIY. It's another week. I hope your weekend was amazing and you had so much fun. You enjoyed the weather, even that small bit where it rained. Today I'm going to show you how I made a beautiful ottoman that's also going to act as storage space from a tire or a wheel, depending on what you call it. So it's an easy process, but it's also cool. It's not easy, but it's something that you can do within, let's say, a day and a half. And the reason it's a day and a half, I'll explain as we go, is because you have to wait for something to dry overnight. That's it. So the process is fairly easy. You won't need a lot of stuff depending on how you look at it. So the things that you are going to need are not that crazy. Of course, you'll need the tire. So it's an old tire. You don't have to go buy a new one for this. Plywood. I ended up for this one, my cats sigh. For this particular DIY, I bought a 3mm plywood. But then you'll be hearing a lot of these measurements as we go by. Don't worry, it's nothing crazy. It's something that when you just walk into a hardware and say, hey, kona plywood, this is the one they'll give you. This is the basic one. So it's a 3mm plywood. I would have bought the 16mm like before, but then because I only needed 4 pieces, it wouldn't have made sense to get a 3mm one because I don't think I have another project that requires a plywood. So I could have bought the 6mm, so I ended up buying the 3mm. Wow. So I ended up buying the 3mm, and then what I did was I stuck the pieces together. So first what I did was I measured the diameter of the inside perimeter of the tires. That way, that was what determined the size of the plywood that was cut. And again, it has to be cut in a circle. So I went bought the plywood. The plywood was $750. And paid $750 for the plywood. Yes, $750 for the plywood, and then the cutting into circles, they charged me 200 bob because this one was a lot more intricate than just doing the rectangles. So I measured mine. The space, the diameter on the inside was 50 centimeters, so that's what I went with. And then the one plywood gave forth 8. And then I took 3 of those, stuck them together. Okay, first, of course, you sand the edges because you don't want splinters. I stuck them together using wood glue, and then I just put on a lot of weight and I let that sit overnight to dry. And then I used the other one. So I stuck 3, which means the top bit has 9mm, and then the bottom bit has the 3mm because I really wanted to cover the bottom. And there was nothing crazy about that. It didn't have to be heavy or anything. So the 3 that were for the top are the ones that I stuck with the glue, and then left it overnight. It dried. So the other thing that I did with the tire was to make sure that I reinforced it, because the tire is made of rubber and it wouldn't hold its shape if you put a lot of heavy stuff on it. So I used some pieces of wood where I measured the height of the tire when it was laying flat, and then I cut 4 pieces of wood in that particular size, and then I went and reinforced the tire on 4 different angles, and then I used some those really small nails to just hold the wood in place that way to make sure it wouldn't move. You can see I struggled a bit, but I eventually found my footing. And this is just going to make sure that even if you put heavy stuff in or on the tire, it will still hold its shape and it will stay in that cute circle, which is what you want here. I bought the cushions for those normal seats. It was 200 and they said it was 225. So I got 2 of them for 450. So yeah, 225 a piece. And then again used the same top plywood thing, and then just went in with a handsaw, but then just that kaina thing. I have mine where it's far. That saw thing, it's just something you can really just cut around. And then, because then it's just the edges, by the way, it's not a crazy thing. So after that, again, used my fabric, measured. But now with fabric, you get a bit more because you're going to tack it underneath the cushion. So I first picked the inner the inner fabric, which is cotton. So I had fabric in the house, so this one I didn't buy. I went with cotton to just, you know, hold everything together. And then on top, I went with pleather because I wanted something that can be easily wiped if it gets dirty. And then the simple thing is then you just take the plywood, put the cushion, and then pull and use a hammer and some small nails, unless you have the staple gun. I don't have a staple gun yet. So the top was done. And then for the wheel itself, I just painted using the leftover acrylic paint from my previous project of the background. I went with like a look of a donut. That's why it has like tiny sprinkles with different colors. So it was just painting. The other thing that I added to this particular one was because I wanted to make it storage, I went with a hinge. This one I bought a long time ago. It was supposed to be for a completely different project, but then I saw it and I was like, oh, this will be cool. So I ended up using that. Installing it into the wheel wasn't that easy. I had to use my drill just to make like tiny holes so that the screw could go in. That was a bit tough because at first I thought since the screw is pointy at the bottom, I thought it was just going to go through. That didn't work, so I just went with the drill and made just a small incision, small hole, and then just went through with the screw and a screwdriver. For the top, it wasn't that hard. And then after that, what I did, because again, this is storage and the top was going to be thin once you open. Initially, I hadn't thought of it. I didn't plan for it to be storage space. It was just going to be an Ottoman. And then I was like, but look, we can make it storage. And so I decided to use leftover fabric from yet another DIY that's already on this channel. Self-plugs. So I used that fabric to just seal in the insides. That way everything looks nice and complete and neat. If you like this, if it's something that you would try, if you think it's something that's cool, maybe leave a comment in the comment section and say, maybe type something like, ooh, that's such a cool donut. That way only people who've watched till this part will know what that means. Yeah, do that. Ooh, that's such a cool donut. Oh mom, look at us being a team. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching this video. Was it long? Oh yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are going to try this. This is like such a cool project you can do if really. Yo, so my cat just like came and took 2 photos of me and then left. Really, is it okay? Okay, cool. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's somewhere down here. If not down here, somewhere. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me, because I feel so honored that you do that. Like every 3 times a week. It's such an amazing thing. And don't forget, ooh, that's a cool donut. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.